Now, Charlotte found its way once again into the political spotlight during the address for a tragedy that made headlines nationwide.
Many of you will, of course, remember August of last year, the incident that took place. 23-year-old Iryna Zarutska stabbed to death on a light rail train in South End. That raised serious questions about safety across the Charlotte metro area. WBTV's Ron Lee joining us now in front of one of the many permanent memorials for Zarutska in West Charlotte.
Yeah, Ron, so what was said during the address?
Well, it was a moment in time that actually brought both sides of the aisle together, even for a brief couple of seconds, as the President of the United States himself vowed justice for the family of Iryna Zarutska. That terrible night on the Blue Line was burned into the collective consciousness of many here in the Charlotte area and surrounding areas. It hit home when video surfaced of the assault itself, when the suspect, Carlos Brown Jr., allegedly stood up and stabbed the victim from behind. Brown was quickly arrested in connection with the case. The united outrage from many local and statewide leaders helped push forward Iryna's law, which is designed to overhaul parts of the criminal justice system, and supporters say helps keep violent criminal offenders behind bars. Security on light rail trains has also been beefed up following the attack, and more foot patrols as well as security cameras are being used. At one point during last night's address, the president spoke directly to Zarutska's mom, promising justice for the family.
She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Iryna. I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
Now, the suspect is still behind bars this morning, where he has been since the case has gone forward. He is due back in court sometime in April. We will, of course, follow up on that and let you know how that progresses. For now in West Charlotte, I'm Ron Lee. WBTV on your